I've got to ask you about a couple of others, and there's so many matches I could choose from, Mike, but a couple that really spring to mind. So one is WrestleMania 19, Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, obviously the infamous shooting star spot that goes so horribly wrong. Incredible to think we went into that match with Kurt with a broken neck, and the one that we were worried about at the end is the Beast, Brock Lesnar. Tell me about that night and that spot and what you're thinking as the third man and the referee when it goes so horribly wrong.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's like from the WrestleMania is like 2002, real quick, I'll sum it up. The crowd went nuts for Hulk Hogan, right? I mean, they went nuts. And that wasn't going to be a high-flying match, like I said. It was icon against icon. Even just with the push-offs, the shoves-off, everything was crazy, right? With the noise, with only like 68,000 people, too, in a big dome in Toronto, Sky Dome. So, and then you go to these other WrestleManias, and you go to the Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar, and you had two bulldogs in there, man. I mean, you got two strong athletes, really strong athletes. And they go at it tough as nails, man. And I'm telling you, both of them went in there banged up. And Kurt Angle was banged up with his neck. He had injuries as far as... And I remember going, when Brock got up top, and I remember him saying, I remember getting up, I was up in kind of far away, and always the referee's like, get it down, get it down. And I remember, I was like, hit that son of a bitch, Brock. You know, Brock, hit it, Brock, hit it. And he, you know, what an athlete. When you see him, he's done that shooting stuff. Yeah. But Kurt was a little far out. And the last thing you want to do in wrestling when you're laying there for ready to somebody to come off the top is you want to be like a fish out of water and start moving in. So it was really that Kurt was really far out and Brock had to hit it. And Brock nearly just made it, man. And I did see that. And I knew something was wrong, you know, because his eyes were glazed and everything like that. But he fought through that match and finished the match. It was unbelievable, you know.
And what's your role as a referee there? Because obviously that I assume that was the planned finish. Right. It feels like that was the last spot, not an F5. They have to call an audible, and he's clearly concussed, clearly not with it. They still got to power through. What are you doing at that time to kind of get that to the finish?
We're just trying to get to the finish and get to the bottom of the finish and everything. And that's the way we used to do it in old school. He got through the finish, and somebody like Brock would be like, he ain't just going to say, oh, I can't finish it, or Kurt Angle, I'm not going to finish the match. And that's what I was so used to for many years. Just making sure, like, we got through the finish, and then Brock had gone and got, you know, the agents came out and everybody came out and then took him away in an ambulance, you know, which Brock was really mad too. He was just,
Well, that's his moment, isn't it? That's his big WrestleMania moment, completely dashed, really.
Yeah, kind of, yes. So, you know, I felt bad at that point, you know, at the end of the match. I know we were in Seattle, it was a big dome there, and it's just, I know that was his moment. But, you know, Brock's had a great career moving forward too, you know. And then that's like going into the cash-in, you know, at that moment there, you know, with Brock. Well, what a match Brock had with Roman Reigns, man. I mean, I remember seeing Brock, you know, Paulie's on the outside, you know, and Brock's selling his ass off. I thought he was hurt at the moment too. You know, he gashes himself at a post. He always used to gash himself the hard way or gash somebody else the hard way. You know, like I remember that night with Randy Orton. So, I mean, you know, Brock's just an incredible athlete. And just going into that moment with that night, I thought he was hurt so many times or concussed, but he was just selling so good. And it just made that moment of that match so good. Brock and Roman, and then Seth Rollins, here he comes, you know, and he cashes that in. And that was another moment